doing a new long-term deal. We were unanimous among us that we're not in the situation same situation we were 4 years ago. Things have changed quite a bit with the makeup of the team, where we were headed, the direction we were headed, and we just made a decision we were not going to continue in that direction.
Should say in the 2019 season, when the Red Sox parted ways with Dave Dombrowski, who eventually became the head of baseball operations for the Philadelphia Phillies, I almost said the 76ers. Philadelphia Phillies, who opened a 3-game series at Fenway Park tonight against the Red Sox. 617-779-0985 is your number. Feels like a good time to look at two franchises, maybe going in different directions, maybe going in the same direction. You get the idea. But I want to revisit some of this. And as luck would have it, rather, Jared Carrabis in studio with us this week. Jared is actually joining us remotely, virtually. He's presented by Blue Moon Belgian White, served with its iconic orange slice ritual. Blue Moon is a one-of-a-kind game day beer experience. That's Blue Moon, a Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. Jared, are you there?
Tony, it's good to see your face.
Okay, you too, Jared, very much so. So let me begin just quickly by asking you this. When you hear those comments, John Henry saying, well, we decided to move on from Dave because we're kind of going in different directions. Philosophically, we may not be in alignment. I'm going to play you one more short one, which gets more into some of the disagreements or differences that existed between the Red Sox and Dave Dombrowski at the end of his tenure with the Red Sox. Again, we're going back to 2019 now. Late in that year is when Dombrowski, if I remember it right, Jared, Dombrowski kind of forced the issue, went to John Henry and says, what's the deal here? They agreed he wasn't coming back, and Dombrowski walked out of the ballpark, and that was it. It was over, and we never saw him again.
Yes and no. I mean, from my recollection, it was like a very abrupt and not expected thing. And it was during a game. So obviously, I don't know. I remember being at Fenway that night. It was a September night, and we were hearing murmurs about it. And then next thing you know, he's walking out or being escorted out of the building or whatever it was.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, before I get to the questions really about the directions of the franchise, who the Red Sox have become, because I think that comment to me, Jared, when you listen to it, and we're going to play a shorter one here that might even encapsulate or capture it a little bit more, that comment to me really illustrated the different direction the Red Sox were taking, the separation with Dombrowski. I think we all knew it was the proverbial fork in the road at the time. I think we knew it was a change of direction, but I will admit, I misinterpreted the direction they were going in at that time. And when you listen to the comments now, you say, oh, this is what they meant. They were going in a totally different direction where they were not going to sign superstar players anymore. So Jimmy Stewart, if we could please play the one I sent back to Henry 3, the short version.
Right after the World Series, I think it became clear to me that perhaps we weren't going to be on the same wavelength going forward, but I was hopeful throughout the year that maybe that perception would change, and it didn't.
And, you know, at one point, Henry even said, I was listening to some of the old sound today, Jared. At one point, Henry even said, we didn't even agree that we disagreed, meaning that Dombrowski might have gone back to Henry and say, well, no, I'm not in total disagreement with how you want to do it. And Henry didn't buy it. Henry, they couldn't even get it straight as to what they were disagreeing over. But I guess my question for you is this. Looking back now, and this is an easy one, but would you rather have Dave Dombrowski or Craig Breslow?
Dave Dombrowski.
Not even close, right?
No.
Okay. And looking back, is that when things started to go sideways for the Red Sox? Was the separation between Henry and Dombrowski the point where things really started to break down? Because Chaim Bloom came in and then Mookie Betts was dealt, etc. But to me, I wonder if that was a more critical time in team history than we thought of at that moment.
I mean, I thought it was pretty critical in the moment. I didn't know where we were going from there, Tony. I think if you were to go back and ask ownership, hey, at the time, like, what was the logic behind dismissing Dave Dombrowski? And they would have told you, hey, we're going in a different direction. And at the time, we're going in a different direction as this guy, his MO, he comes in, he trades from the prospect pool, he gets you established stars, but he usually leaves teams as a barren wasteland with no future because the farm system got traded for proven stars, which Dombrowski did and turned that into a championship. And maybe the Red Sox are saying, well, now it's time to build the farm system back up. How do we do that? We could go get Chaim Bloom. And he did build the farm system back up. And then they came to another turning point where it was, okay, we have a couple failure trade deadlines in a row. Dombrowski, we didn't need him because he had already depleted the farm system, and that's his thing, is to trade prospects for stars and then win. And we accomplished that, check that box. Now we needed Chaim to build the system back up, and he did that, but he's not aggressive enough to go out and turn those prospects into proven stars. So he's out, and Breslow is the next guy in line. And it's like, well, are you building up the farm system? Not really. Are you trading those prospects and turning them into stars? Not really. So that's where we're in this moment of what is the next move, or what direction are we going in? Because at least with Chaim, we knew what his job was. With Dave Dombrowski, we knew what his job was. With Breslow, I mean, I guess you could say that he was tasked with, I mean, Tony, John Lester, Clay Buchholz, Roger Clemens. Like, we're going back to the 80s in terms of the Red Sox turning their own prospects into proven starting pitchers at the big league level. So maybe John Henry's saying, well, I don't have $400 million to pay Tarek Skubal or whomever, Paul Skeens, in a few years. Can we get someone in here that can actually develop some pitching so that we don't have to pay hundreds of millions of dollars for it on the market? Can we make our own? That'd be great. Maybe that's what we're looking at here with the Breslow era. So we'll see. But yeah, it seems like everyone else has had their role established, whereas like I'm still kind of looking at the Breslow era saying, what exactly is going on here?
So, Jared, and the reason I sort of review the Dombrowski thing here a little bit is because I felt like you. At that time, what I thought was they don't think Dombrowski's the guy to rebuild the farm system. He won't put any emphasis on it. They need to put some emphasis on it. And so out the door he goes. I thought that's what it was about, Jared. In retrospect, knowing what we know now, and knowing that comment where John Henry says it was after they won the World Series that he started to realize they weren't on the same page. What could it be that they had just started to discuss at that point? And the only thing I could come to, the only answer I could come to was Mookie Betts. Mm-hmm. That Dombrowski wanted to pay Mookie Betts, keep him in Boston, and John Henry didn't want to do it. And so what we didn't know is that it wasn't just about Mookie Betts. It was really about the overall philosophy of investing in star players going into their peak years and then beyond into their 30s, and that John Henry didn't want to pay them anymore because he didn't want dead money at the end of those deals. So, Jared, I'm one of these people that when I look at the whole thing, people say Henry doesn't want to spend money anymore. Partly true. The real thing he's concerned about is the dead money. He doesn't like the dead money on the end of these deals, and that means that you don't sign $300, $350, $400 million contracts. So, for example, this morning, I was recording a video for our digital product, Breaking Balls. And it started to occur to me when I looked at it that I said, this whole thing with Trevor Story with Xander Bogaerts, that was a mistake too, and not for the reasons people think. You look at Trevor's Story and you say, okay, well, he cost half the money that Bogaerts did, except Bogaerts could have been had here, and Story never would have come to Boston if the Red Sox had acted sooner. They didn't. So instead of becoming a $150 million deal, Bogaerts' deal became $290 million with the San Diego Padres. But in effect, what the Red Sox did was trade Bogaerts for Trevor Story. They knew they weren't going to sign Bogaerts, so they brought Story in. Do you agree with me?
they could have signed Bogart. It's
No.
the same thing that happened with John Lester, where if the final offer they made to Bogarts in December of 22 was made in spring training, he's still here.
Okay, so I agree with you, but I'm saying in this case, they actually even brought in Story before Bogarts left.
Correct.
So in other words, they brought him in knowing this guy was going to replace Xander Bogaerts. And if you remember, even at its first press conference, you know what Trevor Story said? I'm willing to play
second base for now.
This year. That's right. This year. He didn't say long term. He said, I'm willing to play second base this year, which means he also knew that he was going to take over at shortstop. At the end of the day, here's what I'm getting to. Mookie Betts saved the Red Sox $350 million. Xander Bogaerts saved him $150 million. They gave the same number to Trevor Story, but Bogaerts again got $290. And now Rafael Devers is out the door for $300 million, and the Red Sox didn't want to pay any of them. There's no way Dave Dombrowski was sticking around for that. No way. Not only was he not going to be able to pay Betts, he wasn't going to be able to pay anyone, and he knew it. So he said, get me the hell out of here. Now he's with the Phillies, and here's the next question I want to ask you. Has the managerial change helped the Red Sox?
I mean, it's in between. Like, I like that the fact that they're running more, but I mean, so I can tell you this with absolute certainty, Tony, on the pitching side, nothing has changed. Philosophy-wise, approach, what they're talking about in the meetings, all of that is exactly the same. On the hitting side, they still historically suck, especially at Fenway Park. So, no, not really. No. I can't say that they're that much better. No.
Okay, so this is what I'm getting at, is that I look at the Red Sox, and the reason I say this today, Dave Dombrowski's in with a new manager. John Henry's in with a new manager. The Red Sox have gone 7-6 in their last 13, but for all intents and purposes, nothing has really changed, because I'm with you, Jared. The pitchers are still, the pitchers weren't bad the early part of the year. They were a little bit. Crochet was horrible, and certainly Bayo has improved a little bit. It might be a little bit better now, but the pitching was always supposed to be the strength of the team. More importantly, it's Craig Breslow's baby. That's his department. The offense still hasn't gotten better. So people want to point to the 7-6 one-loss record and how that's a better winning percentage than what they had under Cora. That's true. I would also tell you, though, that the large majority of that came in one series against the Detroit Tigers. Other than that, I think the Red Sox have lost every series since Chad Tracy took over. The Phillies, on the other hand, have changed managers, and they've gone 10-3 since Rob Thompson was replaced and Don Mattingly took over. And you know what the simple explanation is for why one team is 10-3 and the other one is still in the same spot? And the simple explanation is that the Phillies have talent. They have way more talent than the Red Sox do. They just needed someone to tap into it. And over the last few years, Phillies got into the playoffs pretty much every season. They've just failed in the playoffs. So what they decided was that this thing had gone stale. We needed to get these guys to take the regular season seriously again because there's enough talent here for them to threaten for the championship. And there is. I don't know if they'll win it, but they have a lot of talent on that team. The Red Sox are still talent deficient. I would love to know how fans feel about this whole thing, specifically whether or not the change in managers has helped the Red Sox and whether you are inspired to believe in them anymore, because I don't. Do you believe in them any more than you did 2 weeks ago, Jared?
I just looked it up. They're hitting .237 with a .668 OPS since the firing, which is bad. No, I don't believe in them anymore. No,
the offense is the same. I'm telling you. And in fact, they're averaging fewer runs per game. I think it's like 3.7 or something like that. Whereas under Cora, the number was a little over 4. Not that it was a big difference. But the offense is no better. They're really no better. They've just won a couple of more games because the Tigers completely sucked. Tarek Skubal got hurt, and Framber Valdez was having his pitch selection and pitch type stolen from second base. That's it. That's the only thing that has changed. The rest of it is bullcrap. Dave Dombrowski has the better team. Dave Dombrowski ended up on his feet and is in a better situation now than he would have been had he remained with the Red Sox.
3.38 runs per game, 28th in Major League Baseball since the firings.
Okay, so there you go. It hasn't changed at all. I do want to hear from the listeners about where the Phillies are, where the Red Sox are, how history might have changed, and whether or not you have any more faith in Craig Breslow in the operation. This whole thing about the Red Sox have been so much better since the managerial change. Some of the crap I'm seeing online today is just that. It's crap. If you were going to give me Chaim Bloom or Dave Dombrowski and I had a choice, because I was anti-Dombrowski at the beginning, I thought he had really kind of hammered the farm system. Boy, was I wrong. Given what the Red Sox have become, I'd like to turn back the clock and go back to that. I'd like to have kept Dombrowski because he would have pushed back and he would have required them to sign some players. He'd have walked out the door. But then again, that's why he did in the first place, because he knew what was coming. Carrabis is with us. We'll get your calls next when we come back in the Baseball Hour.
3 days ago, and I asked him, "You got your swing back, didn't you?" He goes, "Yes, I do," and he knew it. Here, he gets a good pitch to hit too. I mean, that's a hanging slider.
He clipped it.
Yeah, just backspin it out of here. I don't think he got both cheeks into it. He didn't have to. That's how strong his hands are.
Last night for the Giants, Freudian slip. They beat the Dodgers last night 9-3 in San Francisco. Jared, this is another one that cracks me up. Everyone now dumping on Rafael Devers because they think he sucks, and maybe he does. I don't know. Would you take him on this team right now, Jared?
I mean, if they ate some money, for sure. I think it would be a little bit hypocritical to say the contract's underwater, we need to get out from under it, and then less than a year later at this point be like, yeah, sure, we'll take him back at the full amount.
Well, right, but I mean you as a fan, take the money out of it. Would you want him on the roster right now and in the lineup?
Of course, yeah. I mean, I would be a little concerned, I guess. I like Bogarts was the guy that kept him on the rails, and then obviously Cora's not here. Not that made a huge difference with how things went down last year. But if he came back into this situation, who is, not that he needs to be policed, but who's holding him accountable and making sure that he's doing all the things that he needs to do?
Okay, so, and I agree with you in that which is why that Bogarts decision, when you go back to it, there was really a ripple effect that, Bogarts, the loss of Bogarts might have cost you Devers too, is what it comes down to. But that said, last year, Rafael Devers' OPS with the combined Giants and Red Sox was .851, 35 home runs and 109 RBI. Let me ask you right now, Jared, do you think, because Devers in his last 11 games, I think, is hitting now .361, and his OPS during that time is over 1,100, I believe. So he's up to 240. I'm not telling you he's playing at the level that he's accustomed to. The OPS is still 681. But if I said to you, who's going to end up with more home runs, RBI, and a higher OPS, Rafael Devers or anybody on the Red Sox, who would you take?
I think at this point, maybe I would take Wilson Contreras to out-homer Raffy. But I mean, this lineup sucks, Tony. I don't know. Like, you got Mickey Gasper. No disrespect. You got Mickey Gasper hitting second tonight in this lineup. So, yeah, sadly enough, if you look at Rafael Devers' baseball savant page, he's unequivocally been one of the worst players in the sport this year. But I would take some action on him not being the worst player on the Red Sox.
So this is where I am. I'm telling you, mark my words. By the time the end of the year comes, we're going to look at Rafael Devers and say, they could have used him. They could have used him. I guarantee it, in fact. Tell you what, let's take a couple of calls, Jared, if you will. Billy's in a car on the Red Sox front office. Go ahead, Billy.
Hey, guys. Yeah, this is told everybody's inexperienced. From the players to the manager, they're looking for the players to carry the team. And I think what hurts them the most is the inexperience of the manager building like a really crappy lineup. And I think we could have used more Dombrowski or somebody with experience to actually build a real roster instead of this crap.
Okay, so Jared, he said the manager. I think he meant the general manager, in this case, the chief baseball officer. But is there any question in your mind that the talent is the biggest issue with the team?
Of course. And that's why, when they fired the coaches, it's like, okay, like you're picking a side here. You're saying, if you're John Henry, you're saying, okay, we're siding with Craig Breslow. But now that the coaches have been fired and we're seeing it, albeit a small sample size, what have you, that it was not a coaching issue. It was not Alex is pressing the young players too much and they're not playing loose enough. That wasn't the issue. It was a talent issue. It was a roster issue. And that guy's still here. So I know that we're going to get into it, but I am very curious to see how this trade deadline goes, because I think that's going to tell us a lot about the direction of the organization for the next couple of years at least.
So I'll tell you what, Jared, get into it now. You would mention this actually to me in a text exchange that we had earlier about what do you think the deadline is going to indicate?
So there's three different pathways here. Number one would be that they fire Craig Breslow before the trade deadline. I think that's far and away the least likely thing that's going to happen. I wouldn't rule anything out. I mean, it's a very reactionary organization and front office and ownership group. Like they do kind of blow with the wind here, and things are not going well, and it doesn't seem like they're going to go well at any point soon. So we'll see. But then you have if Craig feels comfortable in his job security, then you might see a trade deadline where maybe if you're out of it, which again, it's befuddles me that they are still a couple of games out of a wild card spot with how bad that they've been. The American League just sucks this year. And I hate that because if you're going to be bad, which the Red Sox are, that's when you trade the veteran pieces, some of the veteran pieces, not a full-blown fire sale, but some veteran pieces for prospects. But here's what could be intriguing. And here's what I think is going to happen. I don't want to promise it. I don't want to guarantee it, but I do. My gut is telling me that this is the most likely outcome, is that the Red Sox and Craig Breslow, and backed by ownership, I think that they not just the trade deadline, because we saw the Rafi Devers trade happen in June last year, but from now until the trade deadline, I think that there's a move in here that is kind of like, it's not selling, it's not buying for this group, because we all know that they're not worthy of an investment. But I think it's a move for the future. It's a, hey, we're the Boston Red Sox. This roster is unacceptable. We don't have any stars in this team. We're playing like a mid-market organization. Let's go out and do something that's going to excite the fans while also making us better and hopefully widen that championship window a little bit more. That's what I could see them doing. And that would excite me for sure if they went out and pulled off something for a superstar level player. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you mean, is a superstar level player to put, I'm presuming, in the lineup next to Roman Anthony, some sort of offensive stud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you have names in mind, Jared?
I would love a Fernando Tatis Jr. trade. You know, like that's a guy that I think his swing would do wonders at Fenway Park. It's a guy that is signed for a long time to a big money contract, but I also think and he's having a real bad year. Exit velocity is high. He's got no homers, so it's kind of like it's a buy low for us. I mean, you look at the guy and the talent level. Sure, there's an injury history. There's the PED suspension, but an elite level defender. He's still hitting the ball hard. I believe if you were to put Tatis on the Boston Red Sox right now, he'd have the highest exit velocity on the team. But if you look at the swing and miss and the contact rate, it's very similar to Trevor Story. So I think that, and I guess I could ask you, Tony, do you trust the Boston Red Sox to fix Fernando Tatis Jr.? Probably not if Driveline's running the show. But if it's a superstar level player, and like I've said to you in the past, you do have a lot of these star level players that have the big money contracts. They have their own hitting guys. So I'm not worried about Driveline fixing or breaking Tatis. He's probably got his own guys. I can't speak to that, but I'm just educated guess. I'm assuming that he does. That's the type of trade that re-energizes the fan base. That's the type of trade that hopefully re-energizes the player. And then you kind of just go from there.
Okay, I need to see more from Tatis, Jared. I'm a little worried about him. He doesn't have a home run yet. Offensive power numbers have dropped here a little bit in the last couple of years. I'm just looking at his slugging percentage has gone. First of all, early in his career, before he got busted for PEDs, he was slugging .611. Since then, he has slugged .449, .492, .446 last year. And this year, .292. He's got 6 extra base hits, 5 doubles, a triple, no home runs yet. And we've played a quarter of the season. But he is only one of the many talents around the game that could be available. There might be another one in Southern California that it has been theorized on these airwaves that could be out on the trade market here in the next several weeks. We will tell you who that is, and we will tell you whether or not the Red Sox will have interest, at least in the eyes of Jared Carrabis. When we come back on the Baseball Hour, Kevin Majori's got your headlines. You know what I love too, Jared, quickly, and then I'll get to my question for you and we'll take a phone call, maybe not necessarily in that order. You know what I love too is like, I used to hear people in the Red Sox organization dump on Dave Dombrowski because it was, all he does is throw money at teams. And yet, he's got the same number of World Series as Theo Epstein does. I mean, if you're looking at it, Theo's got 2, Dombrowski's got 2. He won 1 with the Marlins, he won 1 with the Red Sox. And Theo's 2 World Championship teams were both in the top 5 in payroll, as were Dombrowski's, I think. So, to me, we can talk all we want about the farm system development, and I'm not telling you it's not important. It is. But at the end of the day, in baseball, almost always, you got to pay for players to win. So, Jared, I just want to take this call, and then I want to ask you the big question. Eric in Reading. Go ahead, Eric.
Mazz, Dave Dombrowski has been vindicated. He went to another World Series title with Philly. He kept the gun guys. His decent minor league talent was actually pretty good. He didn't trade Devers. He got rid of Moncada instead. He drafted and developed a couple of decent guys that probably would have been good if they had fundamentally taught them how to do it, like Casas, Bayo, Houck, Cutter Crawford, guys like that. Dombrowski's vindicated. It just makes them look all the more cheap and terrible and repulsive. Thank you.
Okay, so I understand part of their reasoning for getting rid of him, Jared, because, again, he was not the kind of guy. He traded away a lot of, he didn't trade away a lot of prospects that panned out, but he traded away a lot of inventory, and he didn't really replenish it. Now, it turns out that he replenished it maybe a little bit better than we thought, but I would never call Dave Dombrowski an organization builder as much as I would call him a major league roster builder. I mean, that he could do. But we were talking in the last segment about candidates for trade that might be available at the deadline. You brought up Fernando Tatis. I'm sure you heard this. In fact, I know you did because some of the stuff you tweeted out, but on Felger and Mazz, Felger mentioned a brown check mark, very loose source, who reached out to him and told him that, don't be surprised if the Red Sox are in on Mike Trout. A, do you think it's true? B, how do you feel about it?
I tweeted, yeah, dude, Felger said the Sox are going to trade for Trout, kid. They're going to go get him, dude. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, Tony. I want to move like this, right? Like, I want wow, they went out and did what? They got like an established star in here who's paid a lot of money. But with Mike Trout, for as great as he is, first ballot Hall of Famer, he's 34 years old. Last year he played 130 games, but before that it's 29 games, 82 games, 119 games, 36 games, 53 games. Like he's not going to be like, it's been a long time since he's been a good everyday player. Like we're talking 2019. Like again, last year, great, like 130 games out of Mike Trout, that's fantastic. But the number, he hit 232 last year with a 797 OPS. This year, if you're looking at the whole complete package, they have him in center field again. The defense, not good out there. The range, not good out there. He still can run fast, but his range is bad. The defense has been bad. He can hit. He can still hit. You just got to keep him healthy. But I mean, what does the money look like? Are you bringing, because the proposed trade was what, Bayo and Duran is what we saw out there?
I think that's right. Yep.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, you're giving up Duran and you're bringing in Mike Trout to do what? Like, isn't he best served as more of a DH? Like Craig Breslow was saying, Yoshida as a DH, and it's like you're going to give him what, $37 million to be a 35-year-old DH for the next 3 years? He's under contract until 2030, excuse me, I believe.
I think it's 4 more years, maybe 4 counting this one. I'd have to check. But Jared, the 4 years, is that really that big a deal? I mean, they were ready to give Alex Bregman 4 years and $160 million, or ballpark, 5 and 175, whatever the number is. They were looking at something like that anyway. I think that's the kind of deal they would sign. I think the deals they won't do anymore are the, 8 10-year, $300, $350 million, $400 million deals. And we were looking at this last week. I don't remember if we were looking at it with you, so forgive me if I did this with you. But the top 10 contracts in the game are all hitting contracts. They're not pitchers, they're hitters. The Red Sox don't have any of them. There was a time when they did. And so, maybe a way to get in that group is to take on an aging guy who might be a DH, but they could use the right-handed bat. And don't you think they could use the leadership?
I think that they could use the leadership, but I just would go a different route with it. I would. And I love Mike Trout. Have so much respect for the career. But $37 million for a DH for a guy that you don't know is going to be able to play, even 130 games. Like it's kind of, remember when JD Drew was here and people were like, oh, we're only going to get JD Drew for 140 games. He's a bum. Guy doesn't play every day. Now we want Mike Trout for 130 and that's satisfactory. I can't do it. I can't do it.
So, look, I have the same concerns that you do about his durability. Let me just bring in a caller who wants to weigh in on this. Dalton and Dedham on Mike Trout. Go ahead, Dalton.
Hey, guys. How we doing? Give me 1 second. Sorry, I got crossed up here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah. No. So, Jared, Tony, this is the perfect thing I think the Red Sox should do. They have the pitching prospects. They have a line of pitching that they're not going to be able to put in for the next 5 years, and as a rotation, they need to make a move like this. This would be great if the Red Sox could bring in Mike Trout. Will they do it? I don't know. And honestly, this goes back to my Corey Seager take over the offseason. Didn't want him, but right now, it'd be nice to have a veteran bat in this lineup. But the Red Sox, this is the worst lineup I think I've seen probably in the past, I want to say 8 years. And Jared, I know you don't want to agree with this.
How about 80? Hey. Let alone 8. So
I know, Tony. Yeah, Tony. Yeah. No. So let me just keep going here, guys. It's just really, really frustrating when you actually just see this lineup every night. And the worst part is that we had Campbell last year, thinking he was going to be a tier player. I mean, he started out good, but I just don't understand why the Red Sox can't involve him in this situation, knowing how bad this really is. So I just want to get you guys' take on that. And
okay,
Carrabis,
so yeah,
there you again, man.
Yeah, Dalton, I'll let you go. So, Jared, it's an interesting question, though, and I haven't checked Campbell's stats here of late.
He's been fine.
Okay, from what I hear, he's gotten a little bit better down there. But if they're so desperate for hitters and they're so desperate for a right-handed hitter, why isn't he here?
Because he's what position does he play? You already had a logjam of outfielders. They're telling him he's an outfielder. He was an abomination at second base. Like where you already have a logjam out in the outfield. You're not gonna, if he's just doing fine. He's not tearing the cover off the ball. You're not gonna make room for him. I'm sorry, you're just not. But one more point on the Trout thing.
Yeah,
I know people are talking about whether or not the Red Sox should do this. Why do you think Mike Trout would do this? This guy has been in Anaheim for 16 years and has maintained, I want to be here and I want to win here. It's important to win here. Why would he all of a sudden waive his no trade clause to join the last place Boston Red Sox? Like, he would have to really want to come to Boston specifically. And I've never heard him say or anything like that. It's just, it feels very, I don't know. It doesn't fit the blueprint of what we know about Mike Trout.
Right, because, I mean, he would obviously, if you're going to leave Anaheim, you'd like to think he'd go somewhere where they could win. So let me ask you this question, because I think this is an important question, and it's got nothing to do with the Red Sox. It's got more to do with Trout's legacy. He's played a long time, Jared. He's been in the big leagues now for 16 years. He started as a 20-year-old. I mean, 19, really, I think, when he first came up to the big leagues, but his first major league season, I think, full season, was at age 20 or thereabouts. I mean, he's been in the majors a long time.
He was 19 in 2011.
Okay, so Mike Trout has played a crap ton of baseball. You know how many career postseason at-bats he has?
6?
12.
Okay.
one postseason appearance in his entire career. It was 12 at-bats. He went 1 for 12. Okay, now I'm not making a judgment on him about the 1 for 12 because it's a small sample. Okay, who knows? Maybe he had a bad hand that year. I have no idea. But you would think by now that the guy would have gotten his way out of Southern California, that he would have gone to a place where he could have played in October. He hasn't done that. He has no history whatsoever in the postseason. I never hear a peep out of him. Doesn't that all reflect poorly on him?
I feel like I've had the Mike Trout leave Anaheim conversation so many times, and I think ultimately I've arrived on not everyone, I guess, cares about that stuff. If you've made your money and legacy is important, it's very rare to be a single team guy for your whole career, especially now. And if he likes Southern California, be like, wait, so it's not, you're not blaming the general manager of the team or the ownership group. You're blaming me for wanting to move somewhere that I don't want to be when I committed to be. Like, I signed they offered me the contract. I signed it. It's for a ton of money. I bought my house. I love it here. My family's here. The weather's great, but I have to move because you think that I have to win? Like, isn't that someone else's job? I'm doing my part. I'm playing great. I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm doing what I have to do to win. But now to appease you, I have to go somewhere else to win? Why? I want to be here. So I don't know. I guess I can see it from both sides where fans are saying, we're begging you to demand a trade, go to the Phillies. He's an Eagles fan. Go to the Phillies, win a World Series with Bryce Harper. That would be awesome. It's like, yeah, that would be awesome. But if that's not what's going to make me happy, then why do I have to do something that's going to make you happy?
Well, okay, look, I understand all of that, but I'm candidly, I think you said it at the beginning. It's not important to him. And that's the part that would concern me if I brought him in. But I'll tell you what, Jared, I'm going to make a prediction. Mike Trout's not finishing the year with the Angels. I don't know if he's coming here, but he's going to get moved this year. And the Angels are probably going to have to eat some of the money. I don't think that they're going to be able to move him without eating some of that money. But someone will roll the dice on Mike Trout for a few years. And now with the DH, and it's been this way for a while now, but he can go any one of a million places. To me, he'll take a crack at a championship late in his career because he's never even played in October. It's unbelievable. Be one thing if he got there and just hadn't produced. He's never even gotten there. He got there once in 2014. That was freaking 12 years ago. That's it. Unbelievable. Before I let you go, quickly, one prediction on this series. Give it to me.
I think we're going to see Kyle Schwarber hit a couple home runs just to stick it to the Red Sox. Be like, oh, no room for me? No room for me? You got Mickey Gasper hitting second, but no room for Kyle Schwarber? All right, sounds good. See you later.
Do you think there's any chance the Red Sox can win this series?
No. I believe the Phillies are the best hitting team in baseball since they fired Rob Thompson. The Red Sox are the worst. They can't hit, period. It doesn't matter. Pick any sample you want. They suck.
All right, Jared. Hopefully we have something exciting to talk about here in the coming weeks. I'm starting to wonder.
We won't, but I'm excited to see you next week, Tony.
All right, we'll catch up with you soon. Jared Carrabis, Section 10 Podcast, joining us here on the Baseball Hour as he does every week. Kevin Managerial will have your headlines here momentarily. Joe Murray will have you for the rest of the night.